Okay, let's see if you recognize this. So you're playing beach volleyball and the weather's nice, it's a nice evening, the sun is just awesome, whatnot. You're playing well, but then comes the side switch and all of a sudden it's like bam! The sun is in your eyes, you see nothing, the people are serving at you and it's like ball just comes and hits you in the chest and you have no idea how to deal with this. So how do you actually serve receive when the sun is on our eyes? When the sun is low and the court is orientated so that on one of the sides the sun is just straight in your eyes. Well, I have an idea for a solution for that I'm going to share with you. This is not necessarily a finished solution. Like, this is sort of a concept that I've tried and played around with a little bit. There might be something even better that I'll figure out later, but for now this is, I think, pretty cool. So when you serve receive, when do you actually need to see the ball? If we have a flight path from the beginning to the end, from the server's hand to your serve receive platform, I would want to argue that the two most important points to see the ball is straight in the beginning when the ball leaves the server's hand, so that you can see sort of the direction, the rough direction of where the ball is going. And then the other important part is in the very end, in the very touch, when you actually need to put your arms on the ball and not right next to the ball or almost on the ball so that it becomes a shank. So with that in mind, basically we are standing with the sun in our eyes. Like, I'm standing right now and it sucks. Like, I see nothing and I get kind of blinded from it. But we are going to be blinded at some point. But is there any way that we could maybe get that blindness in the middle part of the flight path when it's maybe not as crucial that we actually see the ball properly? So in the beginning, I would want to argue, well, of course sunglasses are good, but I would want to argue that in the beginning, when you're standing in your serve receive position, you can afford to put a hand up and actually take away the sun, so that you see the server and the server's hand. And you can actually even stand like this in your serve receive position until you know roughly where the ball is gonna go. Then obviously after that, when you know, okay, it's going to my left, well, you start moving left, and you might not want to move with your hand over here, which means that you can take your hand down and you will be blinded, but I'm arguing that that might be fine. Second way to do this is, beach volleyball is not necessarily a sport where you need a lot of equipment, but a cap can actually be a good investment, because you can go gangster style and put the cap like this and and wait for your serve receive. Also here, when you start moving, once you know, okay, it's going roughly to my left or right or whatever, when you start moving, the cap might go up and you might get blinded. So that's fine. My point was, you can use your hand or your cap. Okay, so when the ball comes closer to you though, in the second crucial part of you seeing the ball, what happens then? So here we are blinded by the sun and the ball is coming, and here when it's kind of far away, the sun is kind of blinding you still. But when it comes closer and closer and closer, the ball actually tends to become visible in the very end. Because the ball becomes bigger, it becomes closer to you, and you actually tend to see it enough in the end, even if the sun is straight in your eyes. So I hope this makes sense. It's basically a small combination. Hold your hand or your cap in the beginning. Don't care so much about getting blinded in the middle, because you don't really need that information as much anyway. And then in the end, just trust that you will see the ball and try to pass it as well as possible. So hope this helps someone out there. Try it out and see if it works. And if you happen to come up with something even better than this, please share it in the comments below, because I think we can all use some help with dealing with this kind of problem. Part of the fun with beach volleyball is dealing with the elements, dealing with the wind, dealing with the sun. But of course, the better tools we have to deal with it, the better. There's going to be a second part to this video, which is going to be the opposite. How do you as a server mess up your opponents as much as possible in these kind of conditions? So if you want to have double benefit and just make sure that you always win games in this kind of weather. Make sure to check that out as well, and you'll be passing better than your opponents, and they will have no idea what to do because you're gonna serve the shit out of them, and it's gonna be fun. See you there.